Women around the world breathe a sigh of relief. Skinny jeans are out. Hi there, everybody. I'm Jeff, and you are listening to Lesson 378 of Plain English, where we use trending topics and current events to help you upgrade your skills in English. JR is the producer, and he has posted the full lesson to plainenglish.com/378. Coming up today, love 'em or hate 'em, skinny jeans were a staple of women's fashion for decades, peaking in the early 2000s. But I am here to tell you they are now officially out of style. And if you don't believe me, check TikTok. As always, we have an English expression to talk about. Today, it's the phrasal verb break out, and we have a quote of the week. Let's get started. Generation Z has spoken. Skinny jeans are officially uncool. They say fashion goes in cycles, and what's in today will be out tomorrow, while what's out today will come back. In the 1960s and 1970s, women wore bell-bottoms. These were pants that were tight around the waist, but then expanded from the knee down to the ankle, so they were wide at the bottom. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, popular jeans became baggier, with lots of room to maneuver. This was true for both men and women. Remember cargo pants? These were loose-fitting pants with pockets all over the place. But as jeans in the shopping malls got baggier, trends among rock stars were moving in a different direction. By the 1980s, heavy metal bands like Anthrax, Metallica, and Megadeth started wearing tight, acid-washed jeans on their slim frames. The trend continued into the 1990s with icons like Michael Jackson, Freddie Mercury, Kiss, and Bon Jovi all wearing slimmer pants. It wasn't until the mid-2000s that the trend for slimmer pants made the jump into mainstream fashion, especially for women. At first, skinny jeans weren't sold in shopping malls because it was considered too risky and not profitable to sell tight-fitting jeans on the mass market. So skinny jeans took off online. But in about 2005, skinny jeans became more and more visible thanks to celebrities, and demand among consumers surged. British supermodel Kate Moss wore them, so did actress Sienna Miller. As a result, legions of women followed suit. In the second half of that decade, skinny jeans became the default style of jeans and choice for casual pants by both women and men. Manufacturers experimented with varying designs, particularly by putting a small amount of spandex into the fabric to allow them to stretch, and, of course, to fit even more snugly. The only minor problem, and it was a minor problem, is that skinny jeans are not comfortable. Millennial generation women, and to a lesser extent men, have spent the last 15 years squeezing themselves into slimmer and slimmer pants, sacrificing comfort along the way. And then came COVID-19. After a year of communicating on Zoom, Microsoft Teams, FaceTime, TikTok, and Snapchat, we all got used to looking good on our upper half, but wearing whatever was most comfortable on our lower half. And Generation Z has decided they are not going back to tight-fitting pants, especially not after the year of comfortable pants they just lived through. And in fact, a generational battle has broken out between the millennial generation, born between 1981 and 1996, and Generation Z, those born after 1997. Gen Z says that if you wear skinny jeans anymore, it's proof positive that you're old and trying to look younger. Some millennials are trying to defend their signature look, but a lot of them are secretly recognizing that skinny jeans weren't that comfortable in the first place. Now, the celebrity press is making people choose sides. They photographed the actress Katie Holmes wearing looser-fitting jeans, but Kate Middleton, the Duchess of Cambridge, and Kamala Harris, the American vice president, were photographed still squeezing into their skinny jeans. Skinny jeans have not always been popular. Over the years, tight pants have been blamed for all sorts of ailments. In Victorian times, doctors blamed tight trousers for apoplexy. That's internal bleeding. More recently, some doctors have said they cause numbness in your legs. A group of Korean doctors said they cause varicose veins. And men aren't exempt. Skinny jeans on men have been blamed for causing low sperm counts. Kim Jong-un, the North Korean dictator, banned skinny jeans in his country. He said they were a symbol of the capitalist lifestyle, and he did not mean that as a compliment. Whenever we have a science-related lesson, I always say that I'm a little out of my comfort zone and I have to do more research than usual. Well, that's doubly true when talking about fashion. I relied more than usual on research about skinny jeans. Our next live conversation with Plain English Plus members is coming up tomorrow night, July 6th, here in the U.S. The discussion will start with skinny jeans and will expand to fashion trends through the years. I'd love to get all your opinions on this and hear your stories about comfortable and uncomfortable fashion over the years. That will be a fun topic, so that's on our call tomorrow night. Live conversation calls are included in the Plain English Plus membership. So if you're a member, check your dashboard for the date and time of the next call. If you're not yet a member and you'd like to practice your speaking and conversation skills in a friendly and supportive environment, then head on over to plainenglish.com/plus, Plus, and join us. Today's expression is a phrasal verb. It is to break out. We did a lesson about this phrasal verb earlier. That was lesson 79. But we talked about a different meaning of the phrase then. In that sense, to break out is to gain popularity or fame. Today, though, we're going to talk about a different meaning for break out. In today's lesson, you heard that a battle has broken out between the millennials and Generation Z. And that battle is about skinny jeans. Gen Z says they're not cool anymore and they just make you look old, while the millennials are defending their preferred style of jeans. A battle broke out, and that means a battle began. There was peace before, but now there's fighting. That's how you should think about it. Think of a peaceful situation, and then think of some type of fighting or conflict. When the fighting starts, we say the fighting breaks out. And we use break out with words that are roughly equivalent to fighting. So here are some words you can use with break out: fight, conflict, protests, arguments, war, battle, riot, skirmish, that's like a small-scale battle, and hostilities. Those are all words you can use with break out, and they're all roughly equivalent to the word fight. So here are some examples. A person might say, "Luckily, my ancestors fled the country before war broke out in Europe." That means the person's ancestors left the country before war started and before the peace was interrupted by war. Hostilities means acts of fighting in a warlike situation. So we can say that hostilities broke out between the Israelis and Palestinians in mid-May this year. Another example: lots of people gathered in the center of the city to protest police violence. It started as a peaceful protest, but riots broke out after midnight. In the beginning, the protests were peaceful, but then a riot started interrupting the peace. A riot is like group violence. In the Miami airport about a month ago, 4 people were trying to fly standby on a flight to Chicago, but there were only 3 seats available, and so a fight broke out in the boarding area. Everyone was waiting to get onto the plane, lining up peacefully, and then suddenly people started fighting over who would get the 3 remaining seats. In each of these cases, the fighting was physical: a war, a fight, a riot. We can also use the phrase to describe arguments. These arguments can be spoken words or arguments online. In today's lesson, you heard that a battle has broken out on TikTok about skinny jeans. Nobody has committed physical violence as part of this battle, at least not yet. The battle is just digital, a war of words, videos, and memes. Here's another example. A heated argument broke out in our family over who to invite to the wedding. That's probably happened to at least a few of you in the audience. It's a classic source of family conflict, right? Who should be invited to the wedding? Everyone's excited to plan the wedding. It's all peaceful, right up until the time someone has to be left off the invitation list. That's when the arguments break out. And it's often not the couple that disagrees, right? It's the parents and the other relatives who argue about that stuff. Time for a quote of the week. Today's is by Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple. He said, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life." That was part of a famous college graduation speech he gave in 2005, and his bigger message was that we shouldn't be trapped by trying to conform to other people's opinions. Here it is once more. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life, says Steve Jobs. And that's all for today, Plain English, July 5th, 2021. Remember that this lesson is number 378, and the full lesson resources are available at plainenglish.com/378. That's where you'll also find our how-to video for this lesson. Earlier, you heard me use the word throughout. And in today's video, I'll explain when to use throughout and how to use it. And then, as always, you'll have your chance to write your own examples. That's in the how-to video at plainenglish.com/378. And that's also where you'll find the full transcript, listening exercises, quizzes, and more. Coming up on Thursday, there's another Law and Order. It's one of the most recognized television franchises here in the United States, and the show's creator, Dick Wolf, has a new Law and Order concept called Law and Order Organized Crime. There's a twist on this one, too, so it's not exactly like the others. I'll review that for you on Thursday's lesson. See you then.